I first met Jake at a mutual friend's birthday party. He was easy to talk to and had a smile that seemed to light up the room. His laugh was contagious, and we quickly became friends. Over the next few weeks, we spent more and more time together. We'd chat on the phone, meet up for coffee, and even go on long walks around the park. It felt easy, comfortable, and natural. Jake had become someone I could rely on, someone I enjoyed spending time with. He told me all about his hobbies and interests, like how much he loved hiking, his passion for photography, and how he dreamed of traveling the world. I admired his enthusiasm and ambition. He seemed like someone who had his life figured out, and I found myself looking forward to our time together. One evening, after a long day at work, Jake invited me to dinner. I was a little surprised, but I thought it would be fun. It wasn't a big deal, just a casual dinner between friends. We went to a quiet restaurant downtown, the kind with soft lighting and cozy booths. The evening was perfect. We ate, talked about our favourite books and movies, and laughed about silly things that happened during the week. At one point during dinner, he mentioned his wife. It was such a small mention, almost as if he had said it in passing. I didn't think much of it at first. I figured he was referring to a friend or maybe a relative. I didn't want to interrupt, so I just nodded and kept listening to him talk about his photography projects. But something about the way he said it stuck with me. It felt strange. As the night went on, I kept thinking about that word, wife. I didn't know why, but it was nagging at the back of my mind. I asked him casually, Jake, when you said your wife earlier, I didn't realize you were married. Jake froze for a moment. The smile on his face faded slightly, and he seemed to struggle with what to say next. Oh, he said slowly, looking down at his hands. I guess I should have mentioned that sooner. I didn't understand what he meant. What do you mean? I just thought you never mentioned her before. He sighed and leaned back in his chair. It's a little complicated. My heart skipped a beat. Something didn't feel right. I had to know more. Complicated? I asked. What do you mean? Jake took a deep breath. I've been married for 5 years. My wife and we've been having some problems. I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to make things awkward between us. The words hit me like a ton of bricks. My mind raced as I tried to process what he was saying. How could I not have known? We had spent so much time together, yet this was the first time he had mentioned anything about his wife. Was he hiding something? Did he have feelings for me? Was he being dishonest? Why didn't you tell me sooner? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. Jake looked guilty, his eyes filled with uncertainty. I didn't want to hurt you, and, to be honest, I wasn't sure how to bring it up. I've been unhappy in my marriage for a while, and when I met you, I thought maybe I could get away from it all for a while. I wasn't thinking clearly. I was speechless. The idea of him not being honest with me from the start hurt more than I had imagined. We had been spending so much time together, and yet he hadn't felt the need to tell me about the most important part of his life, his marriage. I felt betrayed, though I wasn't sure what to feel at that moment. The trust I thought I had in him was beginning to crumble. Jake, I said softly, I don't know what to say. I really don't. I understand that relationships can be complicated, but I feel confused. I don't know where I fit into this. I'm sorry, he said quickly, his voice full of regret. I never meant to hurt you. I care about you, but I'm in a difficult place right now. I didn't want to complicate things with you. I sat there staring at him, feeling lost. I had never felt so uncertain about someone before. I thought we were just getting to know each other, but now it seemed like there was so much more that I didn't know. And the worst part was, I felt like I had been kept in the dark. I think I need some time to think, I said quietly, my voice shaky. I don't know if I can handle this right now. Jake nodded, looking guilty. I understand. I should have told you earlier. I just didn't know how to. After a few awkward minutes, I excused myself and left the restaurant. I needed to clear my head. Walking down the street, I felt like I was in a fog. How could this have happened? How could I have missed all the signs? The next few days were filled with confusion. I replayed every moment I had spent with Jake, trying to figure out where I went wrong. How had I not known? Had I been so caught up in my feelings for him that I overlooked everything else? The more I thought about it, the more I realized that I felt betrayed, not because he had feelings for me, but because he hadn't been honest from the beginning. A few days later, Jake reached out to me asking if we could talk. We met at the same coffee shop where we'd first become friends. He looked upset, his face pale and tired. "I've thought a lot about what you said," he started, "and I understand if you're upset with me. I shouldn't have kept this from you." I nodded, still unsure of what to say. "I just don't know, Jake. I can't keep pretending like everything's okay when it feels like you've been hiding something so big." Jake looked down at his coffee cup. "I'm sorry. I wish I had been more honest. I never meant to hurt you." I could see the pain in his eyes, but it didn't change the fact that I felt deeply hurt. Trust is a big part of any relationship, and now that trust had been broken, I didn't want to be the person who had to fix something that wasn't mine to fix. "I think it's time for me to step away," I said, my voice firm but soft. "I need someone who can be open and honest with me from the start. And I don't think I can keep going forward with you." Jake nodded silently, his eyes filled with regret. "I understand. I wish things were different." That was the last time I saw Jake. It wasn't an easy decision, but deep down, I knew it was the right one. I needed someone who would always be upfront with me, no matter how complicated things were. I didn't know he was married, and that was something I should have known from the very beginning. It was hard to walk away, but I learned an important lesson. Trust and honesty are the foundation of any relationship. Without them, nothing can truly grow. And sometimes, it's better to walk away than to stay in a situation where you're not truly valued or respected.